Hello students and welcome to the class. I am your history teacher Manoj Arora. Today we will be starting with the next part of the chapter, an imperial capital Vijayanagara. But before I start the chapter, I hope you all will be fine at your homes, taking care of your family as well as yourself. Now today I will be starting with the next part of the chapter and it is related to the various buildings in this empire. And I will start with a massive structure that was Mahanami Dibba. It was on one of the highest points of the kingdom. It was 11,000 square feet in area and 40 feet in height. It was basically used for some special rituals. It was supported by the wooden structure. The upper part would have a wooden structure which may have perished with time according to the scholars and the archaeologists what they feel. There were various rituals related to Mahanami. We all know that we celebrate Dussehra in the month of September or October sometimes. So, Navami and Dussehra, such festivals were related to this superstructure. The kings tried to display their power, their army, their suzerainty. This time they would call the neighboring kings to attend this function, to attend this entire thing so that they can see the power and suzerainty of the king. There will be a very massive function during this time. The worship of the state horse would be done. Then there would be sacrifices of the various animals like buffaloes and other animals was done. Dances would be there, wrestling matches would be there, other programs. Then caparisoned horses, then elephants and other animals were there. Now, this was entire, if you want to compare it nowadays we have the Republic Day parade. You can consider it something like a Republic Day parade only. Inspection was done by the king on the last day. The last day the king would inspect the entire army. This army and all these resources were arranged by the Nayakas. The Nayakas would bring the gifts. But was this entire function so massive in scale? I have written a word, debatable. Why? Because some of the historians feel that the place which is left near the Mahanami Dibba is not so big, is not so vast that it could hold such a wide procession. So whether it's a reality or it has been exaggerated, we don't actually know. The next is the audience hall. Even it is also debatable. It is made up of a high platform and there are wooden pillars which are supporting the base. Now, these wooden pillars have stairs also from which you can go to from the staircases to the second floor. But the pillars are too closely packed, too closely standing. That's what I was talking about, debatable. This place people consider was used for performances. But there is very less space between these pillars, which would leave no scope for anyone to perform. So it is also debatable. The next is Lotus Mahal. It was named by the travelers who came here in the 19th century. Although the name sounds romantic, but it is considered that it was not used by the king for his personal purpose. Rather, Mackenzie had suggested that king used to meet his special officers, his special ministers, where he would discuss the special matters of the entire kingdom. Hazara Ram temple, it was basically made for the king and his family and the ordinary people were not allowed in this temple. The images of the central shrine are missing. They may have been gone missing because of the various reasons. Now there are sculpted panels on the walls of these temples. There are sculpted panels which have the scenes of Ramayana depicted on these walls. These kinds of palatal buildings were made by Nayakas all over the kingdoms. We can find such buildings, such temples. The sacred center, which appears on the north of the banks of the river Tungabhadra. Now this entire kingdom has a mythological base also. Now what is that mythological base? It is considered that the north of the banks of the river Tungabhadra was the kingdom of Bali and Sugriv, two brothers who had helped Lord Rama to bring Sita from Sri Lanka, from Lanka. Mother goddess Pampa Devi did the penance. She had done the penance in order to marry Lord Virupaksha. Virupaksha is considered as the main god, the deity of this entire kingdom. She had done the penance. And their marriage is celebrated annually. The marriage of Pampa Devi and Lord Virupaksha. There are many Jaina temples also in this area. That makes it more religious, more mythological. But these temples are not belonging to the Vijayanagara period. They are older and they belong to the pre-Vijayanagara period. The Pallavas, the Cholas, the Hoysalas and the Chalukyas, they encouraged the temple building. These were the four kingdoms, those who had encouraged the temple building in their area. The rulers would grant the land. Now why would they do that? I have told you in many other videos also, making of the temples would be a way the kings would show to the people that they are connected to God. Even all the orders of the Vijayanagara were signed and stamped on the name of Lord Virupaksha. It was considered that king was ruling on his behalf. And by making the temples, the king would show that he had resources, he had power and he had authority to rule the people on the behalf of God, and he is the messenger or he is the idol of the God only. The rulers would grant lands and they would get them repaired. That showed his power. They ruled on the behalf of the kings. Now they have taken the titles Hindu Suratrana. This was the translation or the Sanskritization of the Arabic term Sultan. This was also one of the way to claim power. The royal portraits were displayed in the temples. The kings would get their portraits displayed in the temples. And whenever the kings would visit these temples with his nobles, it would be considered a matter of great celebration, and it was celebrated. One more such building or construction or structure was the gopurams and the mandapas. These were made either by the kings or the nayakas. Now both have one sole motive: to show their power, to show that they command resources, to show that they can build massive structures. Sometimes these gopurams were so massive that they dwarfed the main temple. Besides that, the temples, these gopurams would tell that temples were nearby. They were made with massive carvings. They had inscriptions written. They had various carvings on the walls which would make it special. As I told, sometimes they are much better than the temples made earlier. But they would surely tell the presence of the temple at a distance. These gopurams and mandabas were having pavilions. They had pillared corridors that ran around the temple, the nearby areas, and it would cover. I hope you must have understood all these structures. Very necessary to understand. Please read NCERT books. If you have got any problem, do mention in the comment box or come to me in the daily sessions arranged by the school. I request you to please write your name, class and roll number. That's a very much important thing. Besides that, if you have got any problem, do let me know. Please do like and subscribe this channel. Thank you very much. God bless you.